Hello and welcome to Embracing Extraordinary podcast. I'm Deidre.
And I'm Jodie, and we're here to create a space for you to explore, expand, and embrace that extraordinary exists, is possible, and how extraordinary you truly are.
To hug, hold, accept, and embrace it to create your most extraordinary life. Welcome to this episode of Embracing Extraordinary. As we step into 2025, it's the perfect time to pause, reflect, and dream about what we want to create in the year ahead. By the time this episode airs, we'll already be a week into the new year, making it an ideal moment to check in with yourself, gain clarity, and set intentions for what you desire in 2025. In today's episode, we're focusing on welcoming in the new year. We'll explore reflecting on the year that's been and envisioning the year ahead, what you're creating and holding space for in 2025, asking yourself, who am I now compared to who I was a year ago? And who do I want to be by the end of 2025? And how starting with your desires can help you create the life that aligns with your extraordinary vision. Let's dive into this conversation and start shaping an extraordinary year together. So, Jodie, as you reflect on the year that's been and envision the year ahead, what are some of the things that you do?
Oh, wow, lots of things. Hello, Dee. This time of year always really makes me think about the year that's been. And I do like to look back at how am I feeling right now? Where am I at right now versus where I was this same time last year? And it's quite amazing sometimes to look at that because they're things that I might not have really acknowledged that I might have really grown with or created or achieved, or even areas that I might not have grown with. And just to be able to look at that and go, wow, I've come a long way with that. Some of the things that I really like to do, we had a chat about this before, Dee. I love some of the ritual aspects that you do. My ritual is a lot in the daily. So I spend time most days of the year in meditation. It's my space. It does something for me. Just getting out of my head into the body, and it takes me somewhere new and really working with my energy. But I guess I relate it back to my goals and my desires. What was I really calling in? Have I done it? Has that been created this year? And before I even look forward at the next year, I think it's really important to be thinking about, well, where am I at right now? How am I feeling right now? I relate a lot of it back to thoughts and feelings, actually. How am I feeling right now compared to how I really want to be feeling? And when I start to look forward, how do feelings and energy really relate to that? So in terms of what are the things I do, definitely meditation, but then really just checking in with my body every day. I just check in and I look at, well, where am I at right now? How am I feeling in terms of even stress? Am I overwhelmed? Am I in busy mode? Am I pausing? Am I using my breath? Am I practicing all these things that I know about and that I share as well? And so a lot of mine's in the daily self-reflection with where am I at right now to help me, I guess, get where I want to go. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. It does. And do you find that there's a certain time of the day that works better for you?
Oh, definitely morning. It's the first thing I do in the morning. But also the other time that I find that really, really powerful, and it's not as much of a dreaming in something new, it's actually about resetting my nervous system and my energy where I'm at in the moment, is if I'm feeling overwhelmed or I've been really busy, it might be a matter of just putting on some music that I can really connect with. Sometimes it might be going outside on the grass and breathing.
Yeah.
You know that I'm a huge fan of the breath. I think the breath is our magical superpower. So it's definitely in the morning, like my bigger meditations, but meditation for me is also breath work and breath and just being present. So some of that is done along the day as well.
Beautiful.
How about you, Dee? I know you've got some really beautiful rituals that you like to do throughout the year, but particularly at the end of the year and when you're dreaming in the new year. What are some of the things that you do that really work for you?
Yeah, there's quite a few. And I used to collect lots of different journals and things that different people had done over the years, and always create a ritual at the end of the year and moving into the new year to create space to reflect on this. And it was bits and pieces of a whole lot of different ones. So about 3 years ago, I created a journal that worked for me around welcoming in the new year. It was really about creating a space for me to, I don't know, slow down and reflect on where I've been, and then really intentionally set my sights on where I want to go in the year that's coming, because the world moves so fast. And what I found was that the journal gives me a space to really dream, to release the past as well, and to really step into the new year with clarity and purpose. And for me, I'm a big journaler. Like, I love writing. I think there's something really special for me anyway about writing words on a page that really connect and resonate with me. So that was a big thing of really wanting to still have something that I could write on. So, it allows me to really take the time to reflect on the past year and look at, what are some of the things that I've learned? What are those moments that have really shaped me? And also, I look at what has really filled me, but also what's floored me. And out of those moments, find gratitude for that as well. And also release what no longer serves me.
Mm.
So it's really about self discovery and growth, I think, and then creating vision and intention for the new year. And a big part of that is creating a word or a theme for the year. This really anchors me into purpose
Mhm.
and allows me to really have clear clarity about the direction that I'm heading in for the year. Yeah, that's coming.
Mm.
So I really love playing around with that. And then from there, creating a vision board and lots of questions and inspiration around that to keep me anchored throughout the year. And
Yeah.
then, of course, it's about every day creating space in the morning to reflect on what I've got in the journal and reflect on my words and what I'm wanting to create that sets me up for my day.
Mm.
And I love, I took it from Lisa O'Neill. She has a Monday morning meeting with herself. So I've
Mm.
really adopted that as well, of having that meeting every Monday morning, going through my journal and reflecting on my goals and my vision of where I'm heading. And then every morning as well, it's really important to create that space to reflect on that.
Mm. Mm.
So,
So gorgeous. How does doing those things and reflection help you with your own connection with you and where you're at and holding space for yourself? Why do you think that's important?
because I think for me, it's about having an anchor. I need an anchor to anchor
Mhm.
to every day as to where I'm heading in my purpose. And I think sometimes we forget. I know often when I reflect on the year, we forget about all the joyful moments that
Mhm.
we've had throughout a year, because our mind's like Velcro and we tend to attach to the things that haven't been so pleasant or that haven't worked for us. And we forget about those joyful moments or those glimmer moments, as I've heard it spoken
Mm.
about
Mm.
recently. I think it's really good to take that time out to reflect on those and be grateful and have gratitude for that
Mm.
as well, and really anchor into what I'm wanting to create for the upcoming year. Because for me, it's really important to feel that inspiration
Mhm.
and to feel inspired and to really connect with being in that moment and coming back to that word of the year, thinking about, okay, if I was being that, what are those thoughts that I would be having? What are those feelings that I'd be feeling, and the beliefs or the stories that I'd be telling myself,
Mm.
to really connect in with that theme and those words?
So does that help you moving forward with what you're wanting to be creating when life happens and, we're in the busyness of life and doing all the doing, those words that have come from your own reflections, how does that help you in the moment?
It's about, at the moment, I'm working on my 2025 theme and I'm working with three words because I can't distill it into one word.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this year, my one word was lioness. I could distill it into one word, but next year, at the moment, I haven't been able to distill it into one word. So I'm playing with three words, which is around significance, sparkle, and simplicity. So when I'm in the busyness of life, connecting back to that and going, okay, because a signature is all about my authenticity and me
Mm-hmm.
being or me doing me and being me. So, with that question, is this allowing me significance or allowing me to be authentic?
Mm-hmm.
Is it bringing me joy? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
that sparkle. And is
Yeah.
it simple? Is it allowing me to be in ease and flow? So, by having those questions, again, it's that anchor to connect into who I'm wanting to be in the year coming. And in
Yeah,
those
cool.
moments when the busyness of life grab us by the tail when we least expect it
Mm.
and send us into a little bit of a whirlwind, and to really be grounded in that moment and come back to that
Mm.
really helps to anchor me.
Yeah, so cool. Thank
So,
you.
thank you. So, for you, Jodie, if we start to think about how you're creating your desires in the new year, how does that help you align with the extraordinary vision that you're wanting to create?
Mhm. This is actually an area that is really big for opportunity and development for me. That when I reflect on how I'm being right now and the year that's been, I know that I spend a lot of time honoring where I'm at right now in terms of working with the emotions and the unconscious beliefs and all of those kinds of things, which we know is one part of the golden thread. It's very much a part of what creates our wiring and what we're able to create in life. But the other part is I need to really start to focus on what is it that I am creating. By this time next year, in 12 months' time, what do I really want to have created? Sometimes I do look forward a year. Sometimes I need to break that down into smaller chunks. Well, within the next month, what do I want to create? Within the next day, what do I want to create? And if that was true, if those things were true, how would I be feeling? How might I be thinking? What sorts of energy do I need to be able to hold? And I think it starts with imagination and having clarity and being able to really set your intentions, because these things can all be really big conversations on their own, because so much of it links back to energy, but it also links to our unconscious programming. It also links to our RAS system in the brain, what
Yeah.
the brain is actually seeking out and looking for. Like, there's so many things. But to think about it simply, to me, it's really important to have some sort of clarity on what it is that you do want so that you can create the energy to be able to create that. And some of that is what you're thinking about, what you're feeling, the spiritual, the energetic, all of it. But without clarity, without some sort of an idea or some sort of an intention, even if it is
Mm,
bringing it back to in the moment today, what's required, without that, then we're not tapping into as much of our power and potential as we could have. And to me, that's kind of where it needs to start, because you got to be able to have some sort of an idea of what your desires really are
mm,
to be able to then create the energy, create the environments, create the circumstances to bring that into reality. And we've talked about this as well, Dee. The manifestation is the end result. That's when we get to live it. And we're manifesting all the time. We're creating all the time based on where we're currently at, what we're set for. And we've talked about this being the golden thread, our own personal settings where our consciousness is at. And we're repeating it all the time because it's all familiar. And if we're wanting to create something new, whatever that may be, big or small, to me, it's really important. I wholeheartedly believe you need to be able to have some sort of an idea, where are you at now?
correct.
And what would be required of me to be able to have that? How would I be if I was experiencing that? Because you could get into a whole conversation about time and quantum, and it's all happening right now. And the energy that I'm in right now is creating what I'm able to not just create, but also to hold. And that's another part of the conversation that we really want to talk about, is not just being able to create that dream, whatever it is, but have I got the wiring? Have I got the settings? Have I got the belief systems? Have I got the energy to actually be able to hold that? Yeah. So thinking about those things are really important. And in terms of simplicity, well, it's pretty hard to create what you want if you don't know what that is.
Absolutely.
And so that's why the whole reflection and the having a little bit of clarity about, well, what is it? And like we said, great or small, it has to start there. And that's a wrap for part 1 of this conversation around welcoming in the new year you dream of and the power of reflection and intention. Have you ever wondered why sometimes the goodness you dream of doesn't last? Or the amount of goodness might be great in some areas of your life, but not so much in others? Remember to tune in to episode 5, where we continue with part 2 of this conversation and move into chatting about the importance of not just creating your dreams and desires into reality, but the game-changing piece of the puzzle, which is your capacity and personal settings to hold them and the amount of goodness you dream in. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope this conversation has inspired you to start to explore, expand, and embrace that extraordinary exists, is possible, and how extraordinary you truly are.
If you loved this conversation, we would be so grateful for you to share it with the people in your world who you think might love to hear it. Please leave a review to help us reach more extraordinary people like you and turn these ripples into waves.
Until next time, remember, you're extraordinary. Dare to embrace it.